Hello, and welcome to the level guide for R5C1. Let's get started by talking about loadouts. For tools, if you're doing the main objective, you're going to want to bring 2 sniper sentries and the seafoam launcher. And you have the choice between the biotracker or the mind player depending on how you're feeling, but if you're doing the extreme objective, you're going to want to bring the biotracker over the mind player. For weapons, you're going to want to have one person bring the sniper rifle and everybody else should either bring combat shotguns or hell rifles because this entire level is basically just full of big guys and you need to be able to kill them pretty easily. One more thing I need to note is that every single tool refill on the map needs to go to the seafoam launcher, and that's not an exaggeration, I literally mean every single tool refill. You have 2 7-code terminal uplinks to do, and the seafoam launcher pretty much trivializes the entire uplink because you can just keep the door closed forever. The last thing is that if you're doing the extreme objective, you need to save at least 1 seafoam grenade and 1 explosive trip mine for the extreme objective. Starting off in zone 110, you will see that your main objective is to find and complete 2 different terminal uplinks. The only thing in this zone is a warden door in the far back that will have an S1 alarm. So whenever you're ready, chuck down your sentries, go into the scan, complete it, and head on into zone 111. Inside of zone 111, there will always be 2 scouts, and almost every single enemy in this zone is going to be a big guy. It's either going to be big shooters, big strikers, or a hybrid. This room also has cocoons in it, meaning that when you leave, every single enemy except for the 2 scouts are going to respawn. So for now, I would just ignore everything except for the scouts, and go do the scans that are found on the east and the west sides of the room. Both these security doors are class 3 stealth scans, so you just gotta do the scans that go out around the room and try not to set the room off. Your terminal will be behind one of these doors, but it doesn't really matter because you're gonna go through both of them for resources anyways. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pull the door and head on into the zones. Inside of zones 112 and 113, you will find anywhere from 0 to 2 scouts. You will also find a cell, and you will also find your terminal uplink. For resources, you'll be looking at 8 uses of medkits, 6 uses of ammo kits, and 4 uses of tool refill kits. These zones are pretty small, so there isn't really a whole lot to say about them. Just get all the resources from both zones, and then get ready to start the terminal uplink. Your terminal uplink for zone 112 is pretty simple. Have one person stand immediately behind this door as soon as you finish the team scan in front of the terminal. This will force all of the enemies to spawn here and then run and break down this door. So just have the seafoam player keep that door closed for the entire uplink. The 113 terminal kind of sucks. You can have a player stand in D and in B and it'll force the enemies to spawn all the way back here. But regardless of what you do, they tend to just break down all the doors to get into the room anyway, so there's not really a whole lot you can do to stop it. Just try your best to keep the doors closed with seafoam, but if you get this terminal, don't sweat it, it's just the really shitty one. Whenever you're ready, go ahead, do the team scan, keep the door closed for the whole uplink, and when it's finished, let them break the door and clear out all of the remaining enemies. Once you've done your terminal uplink, head back into zone 111 and start clearing it out. Whether it be stealth or loud, you need to clear this room out before you do the next S1 scan. After you've done that, grab the cell that was in one of the 2 terminal zones, throw it into the generator, and do the team scan to zone 114. Whenever you're ready, go head on into that zone. Zone 114 has no resources, but it will have a handful of storage containers that will have consumable items in them. Outside of that, to the north, there is a warden door that has another S1 alarm, but that's all there is to the zone. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and pull the alarm door, complete the S1 scan, and head on into zone 115. Zone 115 is a lot like zone 11, it'll always have 2 scouts and a bunch of big enemies, and again on the east and the west sides of the room there will be 2 class 3 stealth scans which will lead to zones 116 and 117. Once again, there are cocoons in this room, so just ignore everything except for the scouts, kill the scouts, do the scans, and head on into zones 116 and 117. Inside of zones 116 and 117, you will always find anywhere from 0 to 2 scouts, as well as your terminal uplink. For resources, you'll be able to find 10 uses of medkits, 8 uses of ammo kits, and 6 uses of tool refill kits. Your terminal uplink for zone 116 will look like this. No one needs to stand anywhere special, As long as these 3 doors are closed, the enemies will always break down this top door right here, so it makes it pretty easy to keep closed. The uplink for 117 is pretty easy as well. As long as these 2 doors on the left side are closed, they will always break down this door on the right side to get into the room. From there, it's the same thing. Do the team scan in front of the terminal, run over to the door to keep it closed with C-foam, and then kill off all the remaining enemies once you finish the uplink. After you finish this uplink, it is going to turn on an error alarm for the rest of the level. This error alarm will spawn 4 normal dudes about once every minute, and it'll also every 3rd wave spawn a charger. Once you complete that terminal, your main objective will be finished and you can go to the extraction point back in the starting zone. You're gonna have to shoot this room though, because the error alarm active, you're not going to have the time to stealth clear it. So just make sure everyone's in a good spot and start firing. For those of you only doing the main objective, skip to this timestamp on screen right now to see your extraction. For everybody else, we're heading on into the extreme zone. Your extreme door to zone 433 is unlocked until you finish the main objective. Once you finish that, it's just an open door, no scan or anything required. Once you enter into the extreme zone, you will see that your objective is to complete yet another terminal uplink. This terminal is a 10-code shadow terminal, and once you finish it, it is going to transition your error alarm from being 4 normal dudes with the occasional charger to being a shadow giant. Another very important thing about this zone is that every single enemy is going to be a shadow, and there's also going to be a mother in this zone as well. Your number 1 priority when you enter this zone is to find the room the mother's in and kill it. Once you've located the mother, C-foam it and just gun it down. In terms of resources, you'll be able to find 5 uses of medkits, 4 uses of ammo kits, and 4 uses of tool refill kits. For the terminal uplinks, you want to make sure that you saved as many doors in the zone as possible, preferably all of them. If you have the top left terminal right here, you want the enemies to break down this door. In order to make them do that, you need to make sure every single door is saved and closed except for this one right here. If you have the middle terminal right here, you want them to come through this door, and all you have to do for that is make sure that all of the doors are closed. And if you get the very top right terminal, you need to make sure that all 4 of these doors are closed, and you need to have a player standing all the way in this zone over here. Once you know what terminal you're going to, make sure you use that mine that you saved from the beginning on the door that the enemies are going to be coming through. Go ahead, do the team scan, keep the door closed with C-foam for as long as possible. You're most likely going to run out before the terminal finishes, but just keep it closed as long as you possibly can. And after you do that, get ready to head on out and start with your extraction. For your extraction, you just want to again pull the rooms. You're not going to have time to stealth clear them because of the error alarm. And keep in mind that because you have finished the extreme objective, this error alarm has transitioned into a big shadow error alarm. Once you've cleared out this room, head back over to the very first room with all the giants in it and start clearing out that room. I like to walk through the room as far as I can in stealth until something from the error alarm screams and wakes up the room. Though this is still up to you and your group. If you feel like you have enough ammo to shoot and kill everything right off the bat, do that instead. It's going to be a lot easier. Either way, get to the extraction circle as fast as you can. Once you get in the extraction circle, there's no new enemies that are going to come after you. There's no extraction alarm. It's just deal with whatever is woken up in the rooms. And once you kill all of that, you will have finally beaten R5C1. Due to the nature of RNG, enemy and resource numbers may be off by ±1, but for the most part they should be what I show here. Outside of that, leave a comment if you think I missed something, but that's all I've got. You guys have fun.